indie games.
Well, I mean, there's a Way Forward game in there, and Way Forward is known for having kind of racy pictures of their characters. Um, like, starting with
Uh,
Shantae, Sigma Star
yeah,
Sokka.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
I don't necessarily mind either. I know some people. I know when Pinky Don was on the cast, he would be like, "That girl's only 15." I'm like, it's a fictional character. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, dude, calm down.
Yeah, I've been getting some of those annoying comments myself when I make requests for Ruby in a bikini, or Ruby Rose from Ruby. Yeah.
No, I don't really watch that. But anyway, here we go. We're live with another episode of BS Busters. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined by not the usual suspects, someone who hasn't been on the cast for a while, but we still like to be gentlemen here. We're not misogynist, so we'll let Joel go first, then the
And ladies first.
yes, we'll let the lady go first, and then Trusk, and then myself, and then we'll get started with what we have to cover for today. Go ahead, Joel, go first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to the BS Busters Movie Podcast. I am Joey Moonstar, and we got Indies run this week.
That's right. Trusk, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hey there, my name is Trusk. I'm as you may know, I'm a retro addict. Also, like girls from video games and anime, and sometimes I also make requests to other artists if I can, and if it's on Twitch or Twitter. And in addition to loving games and art and anime, I love animals. And I'm working to find a job where I can work with animals one day.
That's cool. It's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. So, for tonight's cast, we'll first be covering our thoughts on the Indie World Direct. I will be screen sharing a page that basically lists the indie games as they were announced. So, we'll basically give our thoughts about the game. I'll ask if you guys are familiar with it. Maybe play the trailer. They basically have cut out the trailers from the overall presentation, so you don't have to go through the whole thing. Like, it's just done chronologically as it was announced. And then after that, we'll talk about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man's 20th anniversary, which makes me feel old as heck, because that was, oh God, I was 15, 16 years old when that movie came out. And then, keeping with the Sam Raimi kick, I'll give my spoiler-filled quick review for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Oh, we're joined by Kenoshi. Kenoshi, quickly introduce yourself.
Yeah, this is Kenoshi Abominito. Glad to be here on another one of these BS Busters.
Trusk, you need to turn down your volume a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem. Continue, Kenoshi.
Kenoshi. It's been a while, remember me?
What was that?
Remember me, Kenoshi?
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else you want to say, Kenoshi, before we move on to what else we'll be covering for tonight?
No, that's it.
All right. Okay, then. So, I guess we can start with the Indie World Direct. I really preferred when they called them Nindies, but oh well. Anyway, let's get to this. I have... I'm going to screen share it so that we can... Boom. Okay, so the first thing they showed was Ooblets. This game came out a while ago, at least earlier this year, if not last year. I think for a time it was an indie store exclusive, but now it's hit other stuff, and it looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, kind of looks kind of like the Katamari franchise. I mean, in the cell shading, in the way it's drawn, it just screams it.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like Harvest Moon and Pokemon had a weird child, and they sent that child away, and after 18 years, they found the kid.
That weird one-night stand.
Yeah, or maybe...
Harvest Moon, Pokemon, and Katamari thrown into a blender.
Yeah, maybe one night, Katamari Damacy, Pikmin, Pokemon, and Harvest Moon went to Vegas. The two couples met up, got really drunk, shared a hotel room, And 18 years later, some kid knocked on the door of both couples and said, "Hey, Ooblets, that's my name."
Oh my god. You never cease to make us laugh.
So, I mean, Ooblets doesn't really look interesting to me, but I know there are people who like games with this type of aesthetic and what's going on. So, I mean, that's cool.
Believe it or not, I'm in the same boat with you, Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of try ice simulation and stuff like this. I kind of tried the original Animal Crossing for the Nintendo GameCube, and I realized that it didn't really click. That such a genre didn't really click for me. That is as it turns out to be Viva Pinata, where you actually take care, watch over your garden and make sure that and no one messes with the pinata to steal their candy.
Yeah, but I love Viva Pinata 1 and 2 because Viva Pinata is like the last really good Rare game. Because even though like you look at the game, you're like, oh, this is a game for kids. Do you know how you get the money? I mean, the resources to grow your pinata garden? You take a shovel.
You're gonna have to smash some pinatas.
You take a shovel, or like I think in the
Sometimes
second
you need
game.
to sell the pinatas.
Well, that's one of the ways, but if you grow if you manage to attract a rare pinata like a silver or gold pinata, you basically have to take your I think in the second game you can get like other implements like a baseball bat and other stuff, but in the first game it was the shovel. Take your shovel and you beat your pinata to death until you get the candies, which is your resource to expand your pinata garden. Like the game, you're like, oh, this is for kids, and then it's like, this is so dark and morbid.
Sometimes I had to break on the hours and get them out of the garden until I can find some way to calm them down.
Yeah. Also, in Viva Pinata, you're like basically early on in the game, your garden has like a limit of how many pinatas you can have. So in order to attract better pinatas, especially pinatas where it's like not worth it to sell, just take out the shovel and gotta take
some
them out.
jobs.
Yeah, the circle of life. The second game is from Team 17, the developers behind Overcooked and other stuff, but it's
Product
called
not yet rated.
Latora, Lost Haven.
So, my dear Avril,
Wait a minute.
What's the
where
game?
do I
It's called
start?
Batora, Lost Haven.
Oh yeah, that one.
Wait a minute.
After a
Wait a minute.
mysterious
I think I have a game that's published by Team 17.
Well,
And
they
developed by
are
Making Games.
the studio behind Worms, so
core and defeat
called
an
All Rage and
ancient
Justice.
guardian.
probably.
One of those
So that's the fate of a chosen one?
So this game looks kind of interesting. It looks like
Suddenly, I learned to travel across galaxies and face hordes of monsters.
it looks like
But I'm still
a
not able to
modern
make
take
the
on
right
Gauntlet
choice.
Legends to me. Like kind of like that Diablo isometric view type thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's an eye catcher.
I mean, the art style looks interesting. My only thing is I heard some really dirty things about Team 17, so I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable.
I say it's eye catching, but if anything, it's something to watch and learn.
No,
right?
Well,
wait,
okay.
wait a minute. What do you mean about I dirty stuff about Team 17?
Well, I heard that the owner of the studio / publisher, Team 17, they basically were underpaying their staff while their CEO was like bragging about how much money she had.
Oh,
What?
that kind of stuff. I was expecting in like dirty as in something else.
No. So, I don't know.
They are lucky to not be in the same boat.
I mean, I could be confusing him with Hanger 13. I mean, Hanger with no Team 17's. Those are the worm people. So yeah, I'm a little, Team 17's the publisher and Stormwind Games is the developer. But Team 17's kind of like I don't feel comfortable giving them money. But that's just me. So yeah, Batora, I got they showed some footage early on in the trailer where it's like. Like, oh, that game looks like a Gauntlet Legends style isometric action RPG. I don't know what to say about that. And
Yeah.
like, I'd rather have a new Gauntlet Legends than indie game trying to fill that niche.
Yeah.
But that's just me. What are your guys' thoughts on Batora Lost Haven?
Well, I think the girl on the game are rather sexy, and and the gameplay looks promising. Although,
Hmm.
and the characters are well done, and it looks like it was made on Unreal Engine.
Yeah, everything's made in Unreal these days. Like, you would
Most things, at least.
yeah, you would do better finding, okay, which games aren't being made in Unreal. Okay, that's a unique one.
Well, and it kind of feels that it looks kind of reminds me of Cameo for the Xbox 360.
Oh man, don't talk about that game. That game was that game hurt my soul.
Yeah, people were not
Uh,
particularly happy with
Because
that
Microsoft hyped that game up. We're Rare's back and they're on our platform. I'm like, so I mean, like I gave it a chance because I'm like, well, I know Rare left Nintendo, but Rare's like one of my favorite developers, so surely
Yeah,
Microsoft's
yeah,
not gonna
no,
run them into the
you
ground.
know what? While I was streaming the internet, I just came up with something funny about how Rare actually screwed up with and the mistake. I think Conker's Bad Fur Day, despite the fact that there are a lot of people that love it, I don't think that's enough. I mean, I thought that it would have been better if Conker was released as Conker 64 12 Tales. I mean, hold on. If it weren't for those whiny journalists, I mean, I tell you, Rare just made a move that's just too drastic. I mean, had Conker 64 or 12 Tales been released, and had Rare made a different cartoonish character for an M-rated platformer, they would have known what to do with the squirrel from this point. But since then, it's no wonder they gave him Xbox.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with. I kind of have to disagree with you on that one. I think what hurt Rare was just like because studios have ebbs and flows, and I think rather than Nintendo and Rare working together to rebuild the studio when it was going down, they basically like they got mad and they said, "Well, I'm going to take my toys and go home." And Rare has never been close to what they were when they were with Nintendo. I actually do think that there was a game that they should have stuck to their guns and let it be what it was instead of trying to turn it into something else. But I don't think it's Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Fox.
Yeah, it was Star Fox. I think
Or
because
you mean Star Fox Adventures. It started off as Dinosaur Planet.
yeah, I saw the unreleased prototype for that game, and what it would have been had they not tried to, Frankenstein Star Fox into that game. I'm like, wow, this could have been like kind of like a techno version of like a Legend of Zelda game, but not with the usual tropes and baggage that come with Legend of Zelda. This could have been awesome, and instead they just put Star Fox in there. I'm like, why? Like, I don't.
But hey, look at the bright side. At least we got this new planet in the Star Fox franchise, which is now Planet Soria.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't want Star Fox Adventure to be like I wanted like that kind of. That's kind of what made me not interested in Star Fox Adventure. Because like if I'm gonna play a Star Fox game, I want to fly in a spaceship and blow stuff up.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing that, then
I still kind of like Star Fox Zero, despite I what they say about the game. But I can't. But I think they're right about some things. Sometimes I think you kind of relied on the motion controls a little bit too much. It was great, but it could have done better.
Yeah, I think Star Fox really. I think the Star Fox series since the N64 has started relying like even Star Fox always was kind of a gimmicky tech demo series like starting on the SNES with the 3D effects chip and all that stuff. But with each successive generation, it got worse to the point where it became more about showcasing the gimmick and not about the solid gameplay.
Well, I mean, call me crazy, but I think Star Fox Zero partially saved the franchise.
It did not.
Hmm.
It did not.
Oh.
Star Fox
I-
Zero.
I meant partially.
Right.
Star
Some-
Fox
some it
Zero.
did.
Star Fox
Some
Zero.
it did,
Really?
but the others they screwed up.
Star Fox Zero may be
Hmm.
the nail in the coffin for the series. Unfortunately.
Oh boy.
Won't just wait and see what the future brings us.
I
You
mean,
could be right.
we
It could
might
be right.
get we might get another Star Fox, but it's probably not going to be for like 10 years, maybe even 15. Like I'll be an old man by the time they come out with another Star Fox, probably.
Hmm.
I'll be
It might have
middle
to be
aged.
as to the Nintendo Switch, which is kind of bites.
I mean,
Yeah, call me crazy, but I only bought the Switch for the game.
I bought the Switch for the first and second party exclusives.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, the next game is Electhead. Now, this game actually has been out for a while, or at least the demo for this game was. But, like, I guess this is the complete game. But it's made by a single developer. Basically, this game is where you play as a little robot who essentially has a current going through him, and he can land on certain platforms, and because he has a current going through them and he's in a mechanical world, it essentially causes devices to power on and do stuff. And so that's how you solve puzzles and stuff. Like you can throw your head and that'll charge up certain things, but you can only be separated for your head for a certain period of time. I remember playing the demo for this like years ago on PC. And I guess now the full game has finally come out, so it's kind of interesting what's going on, in my opinion.
Yeah, looks more like a puzzle platform. Looks more like one of those puzzle platforms with the gimmicks of, you know,
Like
Boxy
QB,
Boy.
I mean like Box Boy. Like some Box Boy stuff going on. But, I mean, I might get this game. I'm really excited because it was made by just one guy, and I'm a sucker for games that are made by just one or two people. Where, you know, for me, that's game design refined into its highest.
Believe it or not, that's actually kind of it's Dojin off so amazing. I mean, even if most of the game, even if you whenever you hear Dojin off, you usually think about dirty stuff, you know, raunchy stuff, which is true too. But there are Dojin that have no need for that. There are games that actually rely on the good old arcade mechanic.
I'm not really that familiar with Dojin Soft games, but but yeah, like I'm a sucker for games that like have someone basically like a small team or one person making a game, because that's game design refined to its purest form, because you can't really rely on a gimmick. You have to have some core gameplay feature and then build on that. Because you don't have the resources to build it out.
That's actually how you can tell all that small team actually gave it their all.
Well, I mean, normally I would agree with you, but I mean, from what I've heard of Dojin Soft games, they tend to have a lot of the cheesecake going on, and that within itself is also a gimmick. Now, I agree with you. I have played some M-rated or even higher rated games where I'm like, okay, I get that your guys are trying to sell the cheesecake and, you know, TNA and stuff like that, but at a certain point, like, just for me, because I'm a gamer, like, I need a good game under there. Like, it can't just be, oh, we have anime girls with boobs and there's sex involved. It's like, well, there needs to be gameplay.
Or their PUSSY. I didn't want to say that out loud.
There needs to be gameplay there as well. But that's just me. Next game, Soundfall. It's a rhythm-based game.
Yeah, just looked at the trailer, and not only do we got a sexy heroine and the good artwork, and the gameplay looks promising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, although if it's
No, I thought it looked
I
interesting.
think it could be
with the,
problematic. Sometimes it may work, or other times it may not.
Okay.
We've already gotten a game like this with this, which is what's it called? Something of the Necromancer?
Crypt of the Necrodancer. Kenoshi's giving his thoughts right now. Trust.
I'm
Kenoshi, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. It looked like Krypton Necromancer combined with I forgot that Xbox 360 game. It was a twin stick shooter. Um,
Damn it.
I can't really remember the name of it, but it's like it had a bunch of neon colors and stuff like that.
I know what you're
Uh,
talking about.
Yeah, it's
Wait, you
those two
mean
games.
Pixel Junk Shooter?
No, it's no, that's not the name of it.
Geometry Wars?
Neurovoider.
Yeah, Geometry Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, that was on
Mhm.
everything though. That was on the Xbox. That was on the PC. That was on the PS4.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds. It's like
Hey, yo,
you took elements from
what
them.
kind of amazed me that at the Xbox, how the Xbox, of all the Xbox systems, I think the Xbox 360 was the biggest in Japan. And I mean, they managed to tap into the systems that many that shooting game that we got from say like 2007 to 2012.
Trusk, I understand that, but Kenoshi was giving his thoughts and you cut him off.
Yeah.
Trusk,
Sorry.
Kenoshi, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, I was just saying that this reminds me of those two games combined. That's it.
Oh, okay,
I
that's
might
cool.
pick it up on a Deep South.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, I mean, it looks like I like the idea behind it, but I wouldn't want to put I don't like rhythm based games because then I'm like if the rhythm of the game if the soundtrack doesn't get to me, I start like messing up because you get bonuses for attacking in rhythm with the game, but like if I'm not feeling the music, I'm not gonna do that. If a rhythm is really good and I get into the music, I start playing it to the rhythm of the music, which is weird, but
Yes. I'm piss you off. It can really throw you off.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it looks interesting. I'm not like a gaga about it, but could be good. Joel, you have any thoughts?
Kind of a neutral right now.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
Wild
next
Frost.
we have Wild Frost.
Yes, from Chucklefish. This is the publisher of not the maker, but the publisher of Stardew Valley and other stuff too at this point. So, and it's a roguelike deck builder.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that the Stardew Valley gave us another game like Haunted Chocolatier.
Yeah, but that game's not out yet.
Oh, it's not out yet?
No.
Wow, what's taking them so long?
I mean,
What
I
game-
think it's just like one guy making that game.
What game is this?
This is Wild Frost. It's published by the same publisher as Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I was kind of iffy because it was just a card-based video game, and one time I tried getting into card-based video games. I tried getting in some of those Yu-Gi-Oh games for the Game Boy Advance. And that was okay, but I don't think they added much variety, especially without on a player or two.
Yeah, but this game is not the same thing. Those games were basically a video game version of just Yu-Gi-Oh, whereas this game is like got some RPG stuff going on and all that type of stuff. The only downside is
I got sick of card art games. I kind of used to collect them for keeps, but
yeah, I used to be in the Yu-Gi-Oh and the Star Wars trading card game, so I understand. But anyway, so what do you guys think about Wild Frost? I personally got a real kind of
thrill from it.
No, I got a feeling of that. That game where you play as slimes like monsters, and you use
slime, as in like the Dragon Quest slime game.
No, it's not a Dragon Quest game. It's that game that came out. No, it's that game that came out a short like last year where it's like you fight your way through some type of RPG like tower, but the combat is done with cards, and stuff like
Like
that.
Slay the Spire.
Yes, it's like I gotta slay the spire, Phil, from this. Yes, yes,
One
yes.
that knows
I think
this.
the
This is
armor
weird.
on the characters on the cards, they do look good, but
Yeah, like this game looks like, okay, imagine Slay the Spire, but instead of you being stuck in one location and fighting your way up a spire, you can go other places and do other things. That's what this game feels like in terms of what they're trying to do. And I'm okay with that, because Slay the Spire is great if you play the PC version where you can like download mods that add new campaigns and you can play as different characters, stuff like that. But Slay the Spire, after you beat it like 4 or 5 times, it's like, okay, I've unlocked more cards, but I mean,
I was gonna say it's a game that takes a while for progress to work.
yeah, kind of like that game that came out a few years ago where Cards of Fate or something, Decks of Fate, where like you basically like every run you might not make it to the end, but you unlock more cards and more decks and more outcomes that the way things can go, and it's like, man, I hate going through all this. Whatever. Then we have Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Now I know this is coming to the Switch, but this has been on
That's
everything
just
else for
weird.
a long time. Yeah,
For the name there.
I mean, if you like the idea of putting a group of orcs against dudes in battle mechs fighting against each other, and to see who would win, I mean, here you go. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator.
If anything, this is something that you probably want celebrity deathmatch jokes with.
I mean, this would be a good game to play, like, if you're streaming and you're interacting with your audience and you're like, okay, we're going to have an army of the dead fight an army of cavemen. Who's going to win? And you basically, like,
And you have your audience make some bets on it.
Exactly. Or you're like, hey, like, I'm going to put up I'm going to put up a poll on my channel, and I want you guys to use your bits to determine who's going, like, what army is going to fight which army, and then we'll do it in Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Like I wouldn't think of this as a game that I would play by myself, but maybe streaming it's great. It might have a campaign though, I don't know, but it doesn't really. It's not really doing much for me, but that's my own personal opinion. I know some people. I mean, the cool thing about it is that it's got those flop physics where when people die, they just have that ridiculous like Family Guy fall down thing come on, which is always hilarious. No, I'm dead.
Trust me, it can get cheesier.
I mean, that's what made the original Halo really fun to play, was just the flop physics that people would do when they died. That was like hilarious to me. But anyway, so yeah, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. I know there's people who like these types of games. I am not one of those people, but if I was gonna get this game, I would get it on PC, just because all the mods and extra content you can add to it. I think that's more of a closed environment on the Switch and on other consoles. So, but if you have a Switch, you're getting Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, so that's good. Kadoshi, you have any thoughts?
That game should be interesting with mods.
you mean like Totally Accurate Battle Simulator? I must have missed that. I was too busy looking at all the trailers.
Then there is that's a funny joke you did there. Then there's the game that really made it for me. Like the one game I was really looking forward to for the Switch, but doesn't come out till next year.
Really?
And that's Gunbrella.
Yeah, Gunbrella.
Yeah, Gunbrella.
Yeah.
Gunbrella, like this cell shading. Like I'm a sucker for cell shading. Like I'm the person who who saw Metroid Dread, and I'm like, fuck this game because I don't like that fucking ugly ass art style. Like I like cell shaded art style for 2D platformers, and this game is cell shaded graphics for a 2D platformer, and the character has a unique weapon. He's got a fucking gun umbrella. He's pulling a penguin right here.
Yeah.
Huh. It got, no, it does, no, now that you mention it, it does look like it's mixed with hand-drawn on sprites and pixels.
Yeah, it does, and it looks really good, and it's made from Doinksoft, which is just the most cutest name ever. But yeah, it looks great. It's from Devolver Digital, so I mean, it looks great. Unfortunately, like I said, it's not. It doesn't come out till next year, which is like a damn moment. But
Uh,
yeah, it's like, man, this is the one game I'm looking forward to the most out of this whole thing, but don't come
Really?
out till next year. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said,
Eh,
I love 2D
I'm the
platformers.
most. I'm a patient person. I could wait.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, the selfish gamer in me wants it now, but realizing all the other stuff that's coming out this year that's going to eat up a lot of my gaming time, like, taking a step back and, like, looking at it practically, it's not a big issue. But, the selfish gamer part of me is like, I want it now. Like that song, I know what I want because I want it now. I want you because I'm Mr. Vane. Like, I want Gumbrella now, but like I was like I remember seeing this in the trailer, and I mean in the direct, and I was like, oh, this looks great. This looks great. This looks freaking great. When's it coming out? Please tell me it's coming out at the end of this thing. 2023. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hmm.
I don't know why they announced it so early.
I mean, they want to get people hyped up, I guess. They're like, look, I'm guessing, like, I'm guessing for the major Nintendo Directs, those are more structured. I'm guessing for the Indie Direct, like, Nintendo just says, look, make up a trailer of what you have coming to our system within the next year and send us a trailer of like how close it is to completion. Just send us a trailer. We'll get people hyped up about it. Because like this Indie World Direct is essentially it's hyping people up. Because like I didn't know anything about Grumbrella, but now that I've seen it, like no matter what platform I can get it on, I'll get it. Like I'll get it on PC, I'll get it on the Switch if it's coming just to the Switch. I'll get it on whatever because I really want that game. Looks so good that I'm like, man, I gotta have it. But to each his own. Then we have We Are OFK, which when I saw this game, I was like IDG AF.
Yeah.
I mean, the game looks really good, but I was like, this is where
OFK, We Are OFK. It really has a sexy art style.
I mean, yeah, like I said, the art style looks really good. The character models look great. The world looks interesting. My only problem is that it's a visual novel, and I don't want to play a visual novel.
Yeah, I'm not really into visual novels either.
But they know what they're doing. They got this thick chick up here. They got this thick chick up here. They know I got a sickness for the thickness.
I'm just gonna ask for people to draw all the girls in the game in bikinis or something.
I don't know. They got a dude up here that looks like a woman. He's very kind of metrosexual looking, but oh well. I think that might be a dude who's metrosexual. I don't know. But yeah, it looks good. It looks very interesting. Yeah, I think that's a dude who looks really metrosexual.
I mean, in the white-haired one, right?
No, I'm talking about the black the black character in there. I think that's a dude who's just looks really metrosexual.
Which one? The one with the pink glasses?
Yeah, it's the black character. Like I think that's a dude who just looks really metrosexual.
Wait, you mean
Probably.
the one on the black clothes?
The one with the one with the earring. It's the darkest one of the four.
Yeah.
I think that's a dude who just looks really metrosexual.
I
was gonna make the comment that somebody's blind.
There's some Milli Vanilli stuff going on there.
Yeah. No. I just try to make sure that I didn't get mixed up. Okay.
I'm just saying. Anyway, well, when I said it's the black guy, there's only one black guy in the group. I mean, everyone else looks vaguely ethnic, but he's totally a black guy.
There's some words to be used there.
I mean, really, my favorite character up there is the thick Asian-looking chick, because I got a sickness for the thickness. Anyway.
I just took a look at many motorways, but we'll get to that after Silt.
Silt, yes, Silt.
I looked at Silt, and it looks a little too creepy, and I'm not really much into like too much exploration, and sometimes I think the puzzle adventure it can kind of get on your nerves.
I don't know. You have
Feels
some
more like a
diver
chore.
who can use his abilities to like take over the body of fish, and he's stuck underwater. So I guess that's kind of cool. I mean, this looks like a game. This looks like like that game that everyone loved on the PlayStation,
And,
where
like,
you're
Limbo?
Limbo. Yeah, this looks like a evolution of the formula that they had in Limbo. Which I'm not bothered by. I'm just saying, like,
It hasn't caught your attention like some other things,
no,
right?
it looks interesting, but the thing is, like, aside from the art style and that one gimmick, I don't think this game has a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. Let me guess. This is one of those wait and see moments, right?
I mean, if it goes on sale, I mean, I might get it, but if it goes on sale, I might get it, but I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna rush for it.
I mean, if I get this game, I'll probably get it on Steam on sale. I won't get it on the Switch.
Yeah, I know. Oh, this is a bit. It's like drifting off the topic, but there's one game that I will definitely go for it if I can get at more money, because I'm trying to save up for, or like
Other
when
stuff.
I play when I play in my copy of Pokemon 4, I'm saving there's DLC.
Man, knock yourself out. I gave up on Pokemon years ago. Mini Motorways looks really good. This looks like a more instant action sim city, except focusing just on the transit portion of it, like how to adequately plan, how to do urban traffic maintenance. And since I live in an area that has like the third worst traffic in America, like this type of thing really interests me. So I actually like mini motorways.
Please, kid.
It's, Casey. Not,
So it
It
looks
looks like
interesting.
the street. Yeah, it looks like the.
locations and revelations. Multiple playthroughs
It
will
looks like
also
the street.
opportunities with other events.
It looks like the street aspect of Sim City.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you had Trusk, you're too loud, man. Too loud.
Oh, sorry.
There's Wayward Strand, which is basically an adventure game where like there's different multiple stories, like in different timeline stuff. It looks interesting. I'm not really into adventure games on consoles unless you really do something interesting, like a Psychonauts or a Zack and Wiki. Like I can't just have an adventure game on a home console, or handheld. So while I'm sure there's an audience for this, I'm not really, all a quiver about it. Your guys' thoughts before we move on to the next game?
I'm looking at the trailer already.
All right. Okay, we have
Cult of the Lamb.
Cult of the Lamb, which has an interesting premise. You play a lamb who was taken to be sacrificed, but apparently you were saved by some nefarious thing, and you've now been turned into the avatar of some nefarious being, and now you're going to kill a lot of other people who are going to sacrifice you. And that's kind of interesting.
That's a weird concept, but sounds like fun.
Yeah, I mean, it looks interesting. It's got some, like, the game has some, like, cult simulator thing going on, but then it turns into kind of like a...
It reminds me of another game series, one by Namco, Splatterhouse, and this anime called Kill la Kill.
I wouldn't go that far. This game feels more like, partially like if you took Harvest Moon and combined it with The Legend of Zelda. Because It's like Harvest Moon in that you basically have your cults and you're like building stuff and upgrading your little like commune and stuff. And then your
Mm-hmm.
character can go into dungeons like Legend of
More like
Zelda
a
style and
rebellion.
fight monsters and bosses and stuff.
Yeah, more like a rebellion or something.
I don't know what the exact thing is. I'm just saying that looks kind of interesting to me. But I mean, like, I'm not gonna let the cutesy aesthetic fool me because this game has some like there's some
Right.
dark stuff
Tones.
going on in the background.
Yeah. Mixing cute designs with a dark ironing shit. It doesn't surprise me anymore.
Yeah, this is some Binding of Isaac shit right here, like in terms of the darkness that's going on in the background.
I think
Anyway.
I also see some I think I kind of see some mechanics you would find in Don't Starve or
T for teens.
chopping down trees or something.
Yeah, there's some building aspect going on here. The other game that looked interesting to me was Another Crab's Treasure, where you play a hermit crab.
I just saw the trail. I just saw the trailer just now. I think this one just got my vote.
Yeah, hermit crab going around beating up
Doing
other
Souls-like.
creatures in order to get their
Souls-like.
their stuff. It just
think
looks
it could-
really interesting.
I think it could be the best middle finger to the Soul series.
I mean, I wouldn't exactly say that because Souls is. I mean, they're making a Souls-like game, except you're playing as a crab, as a hermit crab. So I mean, there's no real finger there. They're literally stealing. They're literally throwing their hat into the ring. But it looks interesting.
Yeah, it looks a lot more fun than the Soul series themselves.
But I wouldn't go that far. But once again, not coming out until 2023.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I'm like, come on, man. Y'all just teasing me now. Y'all just teasing me. But the other things they showed were One Shot World Machine Edition, Gibbon Beyond the Trees, Idle Manager,
Those up as well.
Card Shark, Curse to Golf, a guidebook to Babel, and Opus Echo of Star Song Full Bloom Edition. All of it looks really interesting. I'm going to stop screen sharing now, so... So, overall, what'd you guys think of the Direct?
Not bad.
It was all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, only 2 of the games really interested me all that much, but there were no games that offended me either, so I feel that overall it was pretty good. It was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was okay.
I think this is a middle of the road kind of Direct.
Yeah, it was okay. 2 games really
C++,
interested me, but
nice.
like I said, they aren't coming out till next year, so I'm like, there's so much stuff coming out this year that even if those games came out, would I be able to play them? Probably not. So
I would give it about a C plus B minus.
I'd say a C, just a solid C.
C.
Yeah,
So,
That's what I was saying. Middle of the road.
yeah. Anyway, Trusk, your thoughts before we move on to the next topic.
About which one?
Your overall feelings about the Direct, the Indie World Direct.
Although I didn't really see the Direct for myself, I think I think some of the game look promising. I think the game that would get my vote is Another Crab's Treasure and I think it might be it.
Like I said, the big games for me don't come out till next year. Like I would have been happier had they not shown them, because then I wouldn't be hyped up about something that's not coming out till next year. Which were Gunbrella and the crab game. So I'm like, that's kind of like the downside for me. But overall, there was nothing that I was like, they shouldn't have showed that. This is offensive. People need to suffer. So overall, just middle of the road. Like nothing was bad, but nothing.
Yeah.
Like the stuff I was really excited about, I'm like, that's not coming out until next year. So you're just teasing me now.
Hey, if anything, Nintendo players always been teased with some stuff.
Yeah.
What's one more?
I mean, look, we got teased with Kingdom Hearts 3 for years, and when we finally got Kingdom Hearts 3, we still didn't get it because it's the cloud edition. You're streaming it to your console. You're not actually playing it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's time to move on to the next topic, which is, for those of you who don't know, exactly around 20 years ago, just to make us all feel old, around 20 years ago, a movie came out that essentially, in some ways, launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, there were 2 movies that came out before that. There was Blade, there was X-Men from Bryan Singer, but the movie that kind of took Marvel's most...
Spider-Man 20th anniversary.
Yeah, the movie that took the most popular Marvel character of all time, which is Spider-Man, and brought it to a modern audience was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And so we're here to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. So how'd you guys feel about the film when you watched it years ago?
Yeah, I still remember. I still remember. It still kind of gives me chills thinking about it. Like, so what was the goblin? What was the green goblin and the secret identity again?
It was Norman Osborn.
Norman.
Yeah. Played by Daniel Defoe.
It kind of like had a twin personality.
Oh no, he was crazy. He was completely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Among other things, yeah.
Oh. Yikes.
Like, he was completely batshit crazy.
He tried killing Peter, but then in the end he killed himself.
Yeah, that's the one flaw that no, I'll give my thoughts last. Jewel, what are your thoughts about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man?
Not bad. If anything, I was expecting Michael Bay, but I got something close to the middle of the road Spider-Man, that like No Way Home kind.
All right, Kenosha.
Not bad, but not.
I thought it was, thought it was pretty decent at the time. I was, 12 or 13 that movie came out. It was interesting to see a superhero he grew up with watching Saturday morning cartoons about, or afternoons, get a blockbuster movie that started the trend of the Marvel universe.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's... Well, I mean, for the first time, like, okay, Blade took a lot of liberties with the character. The X-Men took a lot of liberties with those characters. Now...
I'm getting hungry now. I need to shower, so...
Okay, that's cool. Just give your sign off and you can... Okay, bye.
Later.
All right. Like, X-Men took a lot of liberties with that character. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about another movie. Like, it took almost 22 years for us to finally get Charles Xavier in his yellow hover chair. Finally, we got Charles Xavier in his yellow hover chair. Finally.
I was about to say, better late than never.
Well, in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you get a version of Professor Charles Xavier in his yellow hover chair. Something that he had in the comics, but they could do in the frickin' Fox X-Men movies. They still didn't do in the frickin' Fox X-Men movies. That's why I fucking hate those movies. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man did something that we had never seen before. Well, since like Superman 78 and 80. Superman 78 and 80. Where you had someone adapt a comic book character and take the shit seriously.
And make it good.
Actually make it good. Like, I mean, yeah, they took a few liberties. Like, they based this version of Spider-Man on Ultimate Spider-Man, which was popular at the time. So that's why he had the organic web shooters. But aside from that, this is like a really faithful version of Peter Parker. You know? Like, Tobey Maguire really, like this is, like, I'm gonna, look, this is where my fanboy bias comes in. Tobey Maguire's my favorite live-action Spider-Man. I like him more better than Tom Holland. I get tired of Tom Holland. Oh, gee. Hey, shut the fuck up, you pansy. You
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah, I can agree with
I would
that.
say he could have done worse, but that'd probably be jinxing it.
Let me put it this way. I rewatched Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And I watched The Amazing Spider-Man from Josh Webb. And I watched No Way Home. And I was like, you know what? Tom Holland's the shittiest version of Peter Parker we've had. Because Tom Holland couldn't even save his Aunt May. Like, Tom Holland couldn't even save his Aunt May. Even Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker saved his Aunt May. And there's a scene in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man where Norman Osborn comes to Aunt May's house after earlier in the day he had like fucked up Spider-Man and he was bleeding, so he hides back at his Aunt May's house, and he almost makes it, but like one of his drops of blood lands on the floor, and he's like, I got this motherfucker. Like Norman, I was like, I got it. I know exactly where he is, and he comes back. And Aunt May's praying in her bedroom, and the Green Goblin like bursts in, and she's like this is how good Daniel Defoe's overacting is. Like she's like, oh my god, like she's about to shit herself, and he's like, finish it. It's like, god damn, like I forgot how
That's
good.
ham, and yet I was about to say that is total ham, and it's good ham.
You know, it's overacting, but it really sells just how much of a son of a bitch the Green Goblin is in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I'm like,
yes.
like you watching No Way Home, and if you've been watching Marvel films for years, as soon as they had Daniel Defoe, you're like, Tom Holland, you done fucked up. You shouldn't have done that. You done fucked up, son.
I was gonna say, wait for it and click.
Ah, Peter,
You know what that
you
click
fucked
is.
up. I mean,
that
really, and you got
moment,
Daniel
we-
Defoe just being you know, like he's hamming it up, but it's like, man, you fucked up. You fucked up.
I was gonna make the joke that he's making grade A ham.
Yeah, well, I mean, because the Green Goblin is like, the Green Goblin is one of the few like, I mean, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man gets fucked up in his films. Like, really fucked up. Like, he gets the shit. Like, the Green Goblin beats the shit
gets
out of him the
stomped.
first time they fight. Like, Spider-Man, like, that's one of the things that pissed me off about the film. Because, like, in the comics, the Green Goblin isn't stronger than Spider-Man. But this Spider-Man gets fucked up in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I mean, the Green Goblin fucks up Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I mean, he beats the shit out of, like, Spider-Man's like, my web shooters, the Green was like, get this shit out the way. You know, it's like, okay, you know, it's like, I mean, it's sad. It is, and yet it builds him up as a real villain, as a real threat. But he crosses the line when he fucks with his Aunt May. You know, which proves once again that Tobey Maguire better Spider-Man than Tom Holland. Tom Holland couldn't even save his Aunt May.
That plot was so dumb. Oh, fuck this. The more I think about it, the more frustrated I am with No Way Home.
Well, here's what I'll say about No Way Home. No Way Home, Tom Holland is a shitty Spider-Man. Like, he's a great Peter Parker, but his Spider-Man is like...
I was about to say his Peter Parker is S, but his Spider-Man is D, right?
I would say a C-. But as far as Spider-Man, as a C-, I'm not going to say it's a D, but as a C-, because it's like, as Spider-Man, it's like, you could do so much better as Spider-Man. Like, but that's not his fault. That's the writing. The writing is shit.
I was going to say that I thought the writing was at least tolerable, but performance, it was kind of hard to pull off.
You know, like I said, he's a great Peter Parker, but his Spider-Man sucks. Whereas Andrew Garfield was kind of I thought he was a shitty Peter Parker and not that good of a Spider-Man either. I know some people are going to get mad. Tobey Maguire, when they first cast him, I was like, I don't think he's going to be that good. But you see him in the first movie, and you're like, actually, I like his Peter Parker. because Tobey Maguire totally pulls off being like he totally was able to pull off being like a nerd, that like an outcast nerd who's awkward. Then he gets bitten by the spider and goes through puberty, and he's like gets all cocky and full of himself, starts smelling himself. Yeah, like he beats up Flash Thompson. He's like, yeah, fuck you, bitch. Yeah. Like,
if anything, Flash Thompson is always that one guy that always makes me laugh when he gets the short end of the stick.
Yeah, I mean, I could see like I'm gonna say this right now: the death of Uncle Ben, like Sam Raimi Spider-Man, did the best version of the death of Uncle Ben, in my opinion. Like, because like Spider-Man has been carrying this, like Peter Parker and Spider-Man has been carrying this guilt for all these years. I got my Uncle Ben killed. And yet, really, it wasn't his fucking fault, because, like, especially in the Sam Raimi's version, because, like, he goes to the wrestling competition, he wins, the guy stiffs him, he's like, well, why did you stop that guy who robbed me? Like, that's not my job. Like, literally, it is not my job to stop a dude who's robbing you. Plus, you stiffed me $3,000. You fucking asshole.
If anything, that was a weird consequence. Like, you shaft him, he's not helping your rear end, and somehow it comes back to bite the one that was deserving, that deserved to get their money's worth after being in a fight. He's the one that suffers.
Well, I mean, the thing about Spider-Man, especially Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, is that Spider-Man and Batman, like, Batman carries this weird guilt, like, of, like, I don't want to disappoint my parents because my parents were murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And Spider-Man's like, I don't want to disappoint my Uncle Ben because Uncle Ben was murdered. It's like, dude, it's not your fault Uncle Ben yeah, you had powers, but you had just gotten your powers. It's not like you were really good at fighting crime or anything, dude. So, I mean, yeah, like it's not your fault. It's not your fault. But, he finds his Uncle Ben dying, and his Uncle Ben says, remember, you have great power, but with great power must also come great responsibility. And, from there, we have the duality of Peter Parker, where, when Peter Parker's doing great, Spider-Man fucking sucks. Like, Spider-Man's career is shit. And when Spider-Man's career is going great, Peter Parker's life is shit. So it's like he can never find true happiness. Because, I mean,
he'll get shafted somewhere.
Well, I mean, you watch the Sam Raimi's movie. Like, there's a point in the movie where Spider-Man's getting a hold on his powers, everything's going well, but his quote-unquote best friend Harry takes the girl of his dreams, which is Mary Jane. And he's like, this motherfucker right here. And then he's like, wait a second, I don't need to worry about this, because she wants to drop them panties for me as Spider-Man. She's totally into Spider-Man. I could get her like that if she just knew I was Spider-Man. And you have one of the most iconic movies kisses of all time, which is the upside down kiss in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't think the chick that plays Mary Jane is very attractive, but man, they made her look good in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They really did.
They did a good number.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst. I don't think Kirsten Dunst is very good looking, but fuck did she play a really hot Mary Jane. Like, hot for goofy looking Tobey Maguire Peter Parker. Like, that's the caveat. She's not like hot. She's like hot for this universe and for this character. And plus apparently she was never wearing a fucking bra in any of those
shots
movies. In all three of the Sam Raimi trilogy, she was never wearing a bra. So,
well, that's new information.
Yeah, it was very interesting because I recently rewatched this because for a film class I was for a project for a film class that I'm teaching, and I was like, okay, apparently she's not wearing a bra. Oh well.
I was gonna ask how closely did you look to see that?
I mean, they have her in the scene where she almost gets raped by 7 dudes and Spider-Man saves her. and it's raining, and you have that iconic kiss, and you could totally see
Yeah, I
zero
was just
bra one,
to,
zero bra one. There's no bra there.
I was just saying that if it was throughout the entire movie, that would have been weirdly hard.
Almost every time you see her, she's just, she is there. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I think Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, like, it gave me my personal favorite live action version of Spider-Man. Yes, I know people are gonna be like, but what about Miles Morales? What about Tom
Oh
Holland?
God.
Look,
I'm going to say this right now. Miles Morales is probably overrated to me. And I'm
like,
a black person, mind you.
here's the thing. I'm not against Miles Morales because I'm not for Miles Morales because he's black. I'm not against Miles Morales because he's black. My issue with Miles Morales is they created Miles Morales because eventually they killed off the ultimate version of Spider-Man, and Miles Morales took the mantle from that version of Spider-Man. Then when they canceled the ultimate lines of comics where you had like Ultimate Hulk, Ultimate Captain America, Ultimate Wolverine, Ultimate X-Men, and merged it with the mainline universe, like they brought Miles Morales over. Here's my thing, okay? You can't have Miles Morales be Spider-Man and also have Peter Parker be Spider-Man. Why? Because Peter
Something has
Parker
to
is
give.
Spider-Man. Miles Morales is a 15-year-old boy. He's Spider-fucking-Boy. That's it. It's just me being fucking nerdy and pedantic about my dislike of Miles Morales. Other than that, I think he's an interesting character. And I think that given enough time, he could mature into a very awesome character. But
he's not there yet.
He's not there yet. Yeah, he's not there. Like them trying to make Miles Morales into like he's freaking awesome. He's better than Peter Parker. He hasn't seen half the shit Peter Parker has, so he doesn't have the experience level to be at the level of like Peter Parker Spider-Man. And that's also my same gripe with Marvel with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Like, why do we keep on going to high school era Spider-Man? I want to see grown ass. I've got a handle on my powers. I have a decent work-life balance, but there's still this amazing, like, I'm still being drawn into like huge world-ending shit, but I'm just Spider-Man. Like, when are we gonna get that Spider-Man?
You're definitely not the first person I've heard say that. I've heard a lot of people say that.
Like, I mean, do I have to keep on seeing, oh, gee, I'm broke. I'm one bad work week away from being kicked out of my apartment, Peter Parker. Like, can we please move on from this? We've had it through multiple iterations. The Tobey Maguire thing, okay, that's the first time they took it seriously. I'll let it slide. But then Tom Holland, and then fucking, then Andrew Garfield, then Tom Holland. I'm tired of struggling Spider-Man. I'm tired of struggling Spider-Man. It's old. It's old and tired. It's old and fucking tired.
As I said, that Spider-Man needs a break.
No, I'm not. No, not the character. I'm tired of the struggle Spider-Man. I want to see other.
Yeah,
I want to see Spider-Man at a different stage of his life. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, can we see Spider-Man when he's married to MJ and he's like a high school teacher and having to be a teacher, but also trying to save the city, like be a crime fighter at the same time? Like, I would like to see a movie where you get to see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, like that age Spider-Man, where he's like, look, I'm married, but I'm also trying to live my life, but I'm still Spider-Man. Like, I want to see that. I'm tired of, what are we gonna do, Mr. Stark? I'm tired of that version of Spider-Man. I'll be right back. I gotta go turn on light real quick. Keep on talking amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that multiple times. I've never been.
As in you.
It'd be kind of.
You
It'd be
enjoyed
kind of
those.
nice to. It'd be kind of nice to see like an older Spider-Man that's got his life together.
Yeah, and I know they did that into the Spider-Verse where you had like my life is a wreck Spider-Man, because why the fuck can't Spider-Man get some fucking happiness in his life? It's a joke to make fun of Peter Parker and his tragedy. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, personally, I'm tired of the, oh gee, he's a sad sack, his life just sucks. It's like, can we please move on from this? You know, it's like
Can Spider-Man get a break?
it's like I'm really happy that I didn't have to see Thomas and Martha Wayne get a bullet in their ass in the Batman. You know, for once I didn't have to see any pearls falling on the ground. I didn't have to see anyone get a bullet in their ass. It was great. It's like, oh, hallelujah. You know, I hope in the next Superman movie I don't have to see Krypton get exploded for the umpteenth fucking time. Okay? Because every other, like, it was acceptable in the 30s in the 40s when they had the serials, right? Because Superman was a new character. It was acceptable in the 50s when they did, like, George Reeves Superman, because it was still kind of a new character. He was only, like, 15, 16 years old. Once you get to, like, the 60s, like, the animated series, I'm like, people know who Superman... People know Superman's origin story. The 70s, people know Superman's origin story. The 80s, people know Superman's origin story. The 90s, we don't need to see Krypton explode this many fucking times. We get it. We fucking get it. Stop. Unless you're gonna add some new aspect to the mythos that's gonna add a different kink to it, like Superman the animated series says that, like, actually Brainiac was a supercomputer that was supposed to monitor the conditions of the planet, and it didn't warn the people because it wanted their knowledge, and that's why Krypton, like, the Kryptonians didn't have a chance. Okay, that's a cool hook. Because it sets up the vendetta between Superman and Brainiac early on, because they're fighting for who's the last son of Krypton. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And plus, I mean, in the comics, it turns out that Superman's parents weren't murdered. Actually, like, the city they were in was shrunk down by Brainiac, and he basically put it into
storage.
Into storage. Okay, you know what? You do that. That's some new stuff. Okay, that's interesting. But if I have to see Krypton explode one more goddamn time just so that you can say the Kryptonians were dicks, Krypton exploded, Superman came to Earth. If I have to hear that same fucking story again, I'm gonna punch someone in the face.
Why did Krypton explode again? I've only seen that origin story once.
It was by a plane. If I remember right, it was by some kind of planetary mishap that started sometime back.
Basically,
to the Kryptons.
its orbit had altered due to some type of odd reason, and like, that basically caused the gravitational field of the planet to go out of whack and tear the planet apart.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, later on, it was retconned. Well, not really retconned. Like, other information was supplied that there was a supercomputer that was built by Jor-El's family, the House of El, that eventually would become Brainiac. That they built to monitor. Like, it was a scientific repository supercomputer that they basically built to monitor data and stuff like that. And that computer eventually became sentient, and that's Brainiac. And basically, Brainiac knew that these things were happening and could have warned the people of Krypton, hey, you need to get your shit together.
He was greedy for knowledge.
Yeah, basically, the Kryptonians had all of this knowledge, and Brainiac realized, hey, if these fuckers die, and I'm the only one who has this knowledge, it becomes more valuable, and it's mine. Because Brainiac's big thing is that he basically wants to attain all the information in the known galaxy, and just consume it, hoard it, and make himself more intelligent and more powerful. And the city that Superman's parents lived in and some other Kryptonians was called Kandor, and he shrinks it and puts it into, like, storage. It becomes the city in the bottle, and that becomes a story later on. So technically, even though Superman thinks his parents are dead and Krypton's gone, actually there's a population of Kryptonians who are still alive and his parents aren't dead, but he doesn't know that. Okay, so his parents are Ma and Pa Kent. Those are the ones who raise him. That's who he knows. But yeah, we don't need to see that origin story again. We saw it in Man of Steel done shoddily. We saw it in, the animated series. We've seen it in serials. Like, people know that. People who've never seen a Superman origin story know, yeah, Krypton exploded. Krypton was in danger. A scientist a scientist and his wife put their son in a little spaceship and sent it to Earth. That's the story of Superman. And it landed in the middle of Kansas, found by Jonathan and Martha Kent, and they raised the kid as their own. And he had superpowers because Krypton had a red sun.
Oh, the sun.
And Earth has a yellow sun, and the yellow sun powers up Superman's powers, making him more powerful, like turning him into Superman. There's more to it, like they've added to the lore over time, but basically, like people know Batman's origin story. Yeah, his parents got shot, and he got sad about it, and he went around the world, trained, and became like a master of multiple disciplines, and then came back to Gotham and beat up criminals and poor people. I beat up poor people. Tell me about rabbits. I swear to God, don't swear to God, swear to me. I'm sorry. I fucking hate that movie. Anyway, so yeah, Dr. Sam Raimi's 20th anniversary Spider-Man. It came out in 2002, so this is the almost 20th anniversary. But, no, this is the 20th anniversary. But,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was 16 when that movie came out. 15? Yeah, 16. But, with that being said, time to talk about another Sam Raimi movie that came out. This came out last week. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness! Madness! Sorry.
Just to cover our base here real quick, the warning is for spoilers for said movie, and if you haven't seen it yet, then this may be your chance to exit stage left right now. But thank you for watching, anyways.
I'm gonna spoil it, but if you haven't seen it, you're not gonna get the spoilers. Anyway, so Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. What did I think about the film? I liked it. It's not my. No, go ahead, Kenoshi.
I heard people talking about in another server, and I don't know if you're gonna spoil who the villain becomes, but I was just surprised that this individual gave a villain, because when I saw this individual for the first time, when this individual appeared, I was like, yeah, this person's gonna be a villain someday.
Oh yeah. She's basically the Marvel Universe's ultimate Karen. She's uber Karen. She's super Karen. She's omni Karen. So I mean, fuck the spoilers. Wanda is the major villain of Multiverse of Madness. Now, I did not think that was going to happen. I thought it was going to be an evil version of Stephen Strange. It was not. It was Wanda. Because now this is where you kind of have to have kept up with Marvel's other shit. Because let's not forget, Wanda in Age of Ultron was willing to allow her and her brother to undergo experimentation and be exposed to alien radiation in order to develop mutant powers so that they could get revenge on Tony Stark. Either killing or horribly maiming hundreds, if not thousands of people in the process of getting revenge on one fucking dude. Wanda is fucking crazy. She was crazy in Age of Ultron. Then
I didn't see Age of Ultron. It's just when did she appear? When was it?
Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron. She appears in Age of Ultron. She literally, because the missile that destroyed the bunker her family was in and killed her parents had Stark Industries on it. She basically roped her and her brother into being exposed to alien radiation in order to become mutants so that they could kill Tony Stark. In the process, she and her brother basically levitated, helping out Ultron, levitated that fucking city, Sokovia, and killed a lot of people, because not everyone got away, okay? To get revenge on Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Once again proving that the ultimate villain of the Marvel phases up to like phase 3 was Tony Stark. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
man, they gotta Thanos. They gotta kill Thanos. Thanos isn't the ultimate villain of the first three phases of Marvel. It's Tony Stark. Tony Stark is the ultimate villain. His evil is still permeating. His evil actions are still permeating the Marvel universe. Because if Stark Industries hadn't done that shit to Wanda, she wouldn't have gotten those abilities, and she literally destroyed and killed so many people in multiple dimensions and universes. Fucking Tony Stark, he's a piece of shit. I'm glad he died in Endgame. Anyway, it didn't happen soon enough. So yeah, in Multiverse of Madness, Wanda, but back to Wanda. Wanda in her Scarlet Witch series that came out on Disney Plus, she basically, because she's the ultimate queen of Karens, she takes this whole town fucking hostage and draws them into a spell that basically she creates these twin kids. She brings back a version of fucking Vision. I mean, some really fucked up shit. And that's her power. That's her doing this. But it gets worse because at the end of her Wanda series, WandaVision, she fucking gets hold to the Darkhold, which is basically Marvel's version of the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, which makes her even more powerful, which is where Multiverse of Madness comes in.
Did I just hear you say that she basically grabbed the Necronomicon?
It's Marvel's version of the Necronomicon. She uses the Necronomicon Ex Mortis to make herself even more powerful, and she creates a little fortress of solitude, but for evil, entitled fucking Karens. And she essentially creates a version. She astral projects herself in other dimensions so that she can find a dimension where her kids are real, kill their parents, who happens to be an alternate version of her in Vision, and take them and bring them. So she's going to multiple universes, just destroying people. And she also, like, this is where America Chavez comes in. America Chavez comes in, because she has the ability to punch through dimensions. So she finds America Chavez and starts chasing her so that she can absorb her power so she can punch through dimensions. Like, Wanda is the fucking total piece of shit villain that she's like, oh my god. But here's where the parallel comes in Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange finds out that in multiple universes he's a dick. He's done horrific things because he compromised on his integrity, and he doesn't get with his girlfriend Maxine, or whatever the fuck her name is. Karen, Carrie, whatever, Francine, I forgot her name. But anyway, that girl that gave him the watch in the first Doctor Strange. And finally he goes to a universe where she's alive, and he's like, he's asked throughout the film by various people, Steven, are you happy? He's like, yeah, I'm happy. Are you happy? Are you happy? Stop fucking asking me if I'm happy. Because basically, like, Doctor Strange and Wanda are on parallel journeys throughout the film, because Doctor Strange thinks, like, the alternate versions of Doctor Strange in other universes have fucked up and failed because they made compromises to their integrity, and they did weird shit. Like, there's a scene early on in the film where an alternate version of Doctor Strange kills America Gomez or tries to kill her, because he's like, look, I don't know you gotta die. Which doesn't seem like a very heroic thing to do. And there's alternate versions of Doctor Strange that did horrific things in order to what they thought to save their universe. You even get to meet that fucked up what if Doctor Strange who essentially destroyed his universe trying to bring back his girlfriend, to get his girlfriend back. Really fucked up shit. And Doctor Strange, unlike Wanda, actually does hold on to he doesn't compromise. He says, look, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to help you. And I'm going to try my best to do what I can to help you. And therefore saves himself. Wanda continues to go farther and farther. Like, even there's a point where Strange is like, well, what are you going to do when you run into this alternate universe and you find your children, and, like, what are you going to do? Kill the alternate version and make them orphans? Like, what she's like, so what? She has to go.
I was about to say, that line probably works way too well when you think about how she wanted to do something.
Well, she's the queen of the Karens. She's queen of the fucking Karens. So anyway, so Wanda essentially, like, you have, like, you're thinking that the fight is going to be between Strange and an evil version of himself from another universe. No. it boils down to like Wanda's been taken over by the Darkhold, which Strange himself has to use the Darkhold in order to find an alternate version of himself to fuse with in order to finally get enough power to take on Wanda. Also, which unlocks his third eye on his forehead, which some people are acting like that's a bad thing, but that's actually a part of Strange's powers, is that he does have a third eye that enhances his ability to see his sight beyond sight. So like the film ends with like the only thing that snaps Wanda out of it is that her kids, her alternate universe kids, are afraid of this version of Wanda, and she's like, she realizes that she's a fucking monster, and she's like, I've done so much fucked up shit, I can't be redeemed, and she basically seppukus herself and destroys her fortress of evil solitude. But they might bring her back. Who knows? But one of the big stinger in this movie is that they call it something else in the movie, but it's basically Shimmergarath, who's a major villain in the Doctor Strange mythos. And you finally get to see the alternate reality Illuminati in Doctor Strange. In Universe 818, where those people had their shit together, where Thanos came there and they fucking took his ass out the first time before the snap happened. You get to see Mr. Fantastic, Black Bolt, Baron Mordo, that version of Baron Mordo, who's a piece of shit, but he's on the Illuminati, because that Doctor Strange in that universe was a piece of shit. Professor Charles Xavier, and the Superior Iron Man, played by Tom Cruise, I believe. And it was a moment of happiness, because it's like, man, I get to see Mr. Fantastic. And then Wanda comes and fucking just destroys all these dudes. Just wrecks all of them. Just fucking wrecks their shit. And I was like, that's not cool. If these people could defeat Thanos, really, like, this version of Scarlet Witch, they didn't put up a better fight. I wasn't happy about that, but, you know, there's a silver lining there, because this is an alternate universe version of those characters, which means that potentially in the main universe there are those characters as well, or the potential for those characters. So, yay, we might get Jim from The Office as Mr. Fantastic, and he looks really good as Mr. Fantastic. So, you know, we might finally get a good Fantastic Four. So, yeah. That's my spoiler. The little teasers at the end, like the little things. One of which was Bruce Campbell just being Bruce Campbell, and one of which is a obscure character. Well, not obscure, a major character from the Doctor Strange comics named Clea, who in the comics is the daughter of Dormammu, who you may remember from the first Doctor Strange movie. But not that version of Dormammu, because in the Doctor Strange movie, like they changed the mythos up. But in the comics, Clea is the daughter of Dormammu, who is this really powerful uber demon who answers to a demon above him, who's basically the Marvel Universe's version of the devil himself, Satan, Lucifer. But anyway, yeah, Clea is a really powerful magic user in her own right. In the comics, she was the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension, and when Doctor Strange died, she took over as Sorcerer Supreme of the Earth. So Clea is really fucking powerful, and it was played by Charlize Theron, who, even for being in her 40s, is really fucking hot. So, you know, Doctor Strange couldn't get Clarine or Maxine or whatever her name, but he's like, I couldn't get this kind of hot woman, but I can get Clea, who's like Charlize Theron, who's really fucking hot. So, I mean, get over yourself, Doctor Strange. You'll be okay. You'll be fine. But anyway, yeah, so overall, I give the film it's pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think Doctor Strange had a stronger villain, like, because they didn't try to redeem Wanda. Like, she's just a total piece of shit. Whereas I think Shang-Chi for me, though, just because I like their version of the Mandarin, I liked Shang-Chi a little bit more than this film, but they're both really good. But yeah, that's my spoiler review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So we have enough time for unpopular opinion, and then we can wrap things up. So who wants to go first?
I think I can say it. Right now, I'm just gonna say that the chip industry is gonna be having one heck of a renaissance, but it's gonna be on the backs of somebody's burnt chips.
You mean computer chips, not chips, corn
Yeah.
chips, potato chips, or as the British call
Yeah,
them,
if anything, I was going
crisps.
technology
Okay, all right.
because if I went with food, that would be totally weird.
Nah, man, now you're making me hungry because all I had today was lunch and like some coffee for breakfast, so I'm hungry. Kenoshi, go. Unpopular opinion.
I don't have one this week.
Oh
So I
man.
didn't.
Okay, I've got an unpopular opinion. So right now, we're hearing rumors that Nintendo is going to have difficulty. Like you're already hearing rumblings that Nintendo's already like how they're planning to wean people off of like how they're going to move to their next dedicated hardware from the Switch. And I mean, the only thing I'm going to say is this. My unpopular opinion is this. I think that the Switch might go for another 2 years of active support. I think at a certain point they're either going to have to do a major hardware update because I mean there's first party games that are struggling on the Switch. And that's not something you can fix with a better screen or something like that. So I mean, if they want to push it further than 2 years, they're probably going to have to do a major hardware update, like kind of like how Nintendo did with the new 3DS. But the new 3DS came so far in the life of the 3DS that it was like, what's the fucking point? Most people were ready to move on at that point. And with the chip shortage being what it is, I just don't see the point. So they're kind of like in a state where they're gonna have to come out with new hardware just because there's first party games that are struggling to run well in some cases. And I know people are going to be like, well, what about third party games? Well, I mean, who cares about third party games on a Nintendo platform? We haven't had good third party support on a Nintendo platform since the 6th gen. So, let that go. So my unpopular opinion is that I think that Nintendo will support the Switch for another 3 years at the most, but I think they'll do what they did with like the Wii, where it's like they supported it for like 2.5 years, but that last year it was like drips and drabs while they were getting ready for their next hardware. I think that the next hardware will definitely be backwards compatible with the Switch, so you won't have to throw away your whole fucking library, which would be a smart move. And they're definitely going to let you carry over your digital stuff because they want to keep that 100+ million unit audience, which is a smart move. You don't want to throw away like triple digits of an install base, even though probably a lot of that are people who bought like Switch Lights and shit like that, or a second Switch, stuff like that. But even if you take that down to like maybe 90, 85 million, that's still a really large install base. So yeah, that's my unpopular opinion. I think Nintendo will continue to support the Switch for another 2 years. But don't be surprised if you see like drips and drabs or cross-platform things. And I'm okay with that because, like I said, there's some games that I don't want to see them compromise to get it to run on the Switch. Like, those games really need to be like marquee bellwethers, and I don't want to see them get stripped down to run on hardware that was old 7 years ago. So that's my opinion. That's my unpopular opinion. People can agree or disagree. It really doesn't matter to me. That's the end of the cast. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Project Console, 7:30 on Tuesdays. See you there.
All right. Jewel?
If anything, at least we're not going to be on Friday the 13th.
No. Although I probably will watch a horror movie on Friday the 13th. It's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. Thank you for joining us for tonight's cast. Stay tuned for this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will be covering, I don't know what we'll be covering, but we'll be covering something because of the cast. So with that being said, that's in the podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, and
Hype responsibly
peace.
before you're